We walk the footsteps of our fathers, the trail blazed by our mothers. They bought the land with their blood long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my. Sing of my Netherem. Oh, weep for the blood of Ammon. Oh, cry for my Netherem. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my. Sing of my Netherem. Oh, weep for the blood of Ammon. Oh, cry for my Netherem. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my. Sing of my Netherem. Oh, weep for the blood of Ammon. Oh, cry for my Netherem. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my.
The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend, and legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten before the age that gave it birth comes again. And in one age, called the third age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose, and a podcast was started. Thank you guys for coming and joining me here today with a couple of my friends to talk about a great book that I really enjoy. Andy's here, Cupcake's here, and Lou's here. Echo took a week off. He's in Paris doing some reconnaissance for us. Probably eating some escargot and maybe some frog legs. We'll see what happens there. But with no further ado, let's jump into this not first chapter. Our first chapter of today's show, chapter 18, the Camelin Road. So we're also being pursued yet again, still continuously running ragged, I would say. Our crew goes down the Camelin Road. It's a wider yet busier road. It's a continuation of the northern road that they were on when they were leaving the two rivers and Tarn Ferry and all of that. They're starting to show a little fatigue here. Nynaeve is riding next to Moraine at first, and they're trying to have a conversation. And it's kind of funny to me because they're so standoffish, and then Nynaeve is the first one to reach out. It was weird to me. All right. I see I'm already distracted. He keeps her back turned to Moraine first bristling with distrust. 2 days edged toward conversation, asking herbs, healing. My notes are terrible, you know that? They continue down the road, and as days go by, they're sitting and eating, and Egwene finally is starting to feel the homesickness and mentions how she used to like cheese. That was one of those. This is a question I was going to ask later on too, because there's a lot of little details I like. And as they're sitting there eating, Lan breaks the mood with some hard news that they're being trailed by Trollocs and at least one Myrddraal. They hear horns from behind, so they start to panic a little bit, and Perrin voices a practical idea where he wants to cut through the woods and go straight as close as they can to get to Camelin. But Moraine suggests that maybe they should stay on the road because it's easier for the mounts to stay on. They can move faster, and kind of corrects Perrin's judgment. It's not always necessarily the shortest path, but the safer and, it's a longer path, but it's safer. There's horns sounding from behind, close enough that Rand guesses they're about 10 miles behind them. And Lan heads back to see what's going on as Moraine takes the group and moves them forward. Lan says to them, "Ride on, and I will catch you up." And this split, Lan is doing his reconnaissance. Moraine is being more of the protector here. She's very strategic and is being the guardian of the bigger picture for the most part, because that's her vision. So they're actively being hunted, and it's nerve-wracking. So Lan returns and explains to Moraine that they're being pursued by multiple fists of Trollocs, dozens, if not hundreds, each led by a half-man, a Fade, a Murdral. We keep seeing these guys. They're very threatening. And so now horns are blowing from both ahead and behind and the side. So they're almost being pushed and goaded into a direction. And Moraine weighs that out loud, because Nynaeve says we should hurry up and run ahead, and Moraine explains to Nynaeve that that's probably what they want.
Yep.
So they move north towards the Arenal River, where the crossing boat might be possible. Lan also mentions a narrow opening for them to avoid Trollocs. Moraine refuses sharply, implying that there's a darker risk than even more Trollocs. Oh, Lan suggests going somewhere to hide out for a bit, and Moraine says no. They have no easy choices here. So one of my first things is we got, like I mentioned, Egwene kind of brings up cheese. They're a little bit of details and stuff that are ancillary. Do you guys find those details to be more world building, or is that just filler to you? Does that help? Oh, let's go in order with Annie, then Lou, or Annie, then Cupcake, and then Lou. Sorry.
Okay. I would say for me, it's mostly filler. I feel like the first part of this chapter was kind of just filler. In fact, it opens with a 3-day time skip. They leave a Barrelon, and then they're like, all right, we've been riding for 2 or 3 days now. It's okay, we don't get to know what happens on any of those 3 days. Nothing bad happens, nothing good happens, nothing interesting happens, no conversations. It's just 3 days happen, and then they camp a little bit, and then they, it focuses on, all right, let's keep running again. So the short answer is it just feels like filler until something happens.
All right.
No, I didn't find it as filler. You're now sympathizing with her. Oh my God, she's so home. You're building more care into the character. I wouldn't call that filler. Little, filler to me is, I don't know if anything is filler, but no, I mean, everything's written for a reason. That's just so you empathize with her a little bit more.
I used to like
No
cheese.
empathy. No empathy.
No empathy?
No empathy. I don't care about you're missing your flipping cheese. And I will say this. Pineapple, you're going to hate me, but this what they're doing here, totally different in the show.
And I will pick your brain about that as we move forward.
Because
the other thing I wanted to
chapter, not to cut you off, but this chapter and the next chapter, holy effing crap, did they change shit big time.
Right. I'm pretty sure you're getting this city a lot earlier in the book versus the show, but I digress.
No.
Oh, really? All right, we'll get there. One more thing about this. Nynaeve approaches Moraine and starts talking herbs to her. Do you think that Nynaeve's trying to be friendly towards Moraine, or is she trying to become her equal, like challenge her and be on her own ground. You know what I'm saying? Like my herbs, blah blah blah.
Good
Because
question.
Moraine's kind of sharp. Because Moraine's kind of sharp in response to her, like kind of side eye, like yes, 90, like giving her kind of that. So, what do you think about that little interaction there? Muted, Annie, I think.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Nynaeve is trying to be friendly and nice and stuff and helpful, so she can be like, well, I have an edge on an Aes Sedai. Like, she's relying on me.
Right. Cupcake?
I took this as very different. She's a wisdom. She sees that Moraine is, suffering. So it's like she has that Hippocratic oath. I don't think there's an underhanded. She's just doing her Hippocratic oath. She sees that this woman is suffering. I've got these herbs. This is what they do. Yeah, I didn't see it like negatively at all like that.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, so here's one difference. Moraine in the show is injured compared to Moraine here in the book fatigued.
Gotcha.
Nynaeve is not with them at this present moment in the show where she is with them in the book. So why they made these changes in the show to the book, I don't know. But that is like, I want to get to the battle a little more to explain some of this.
Okay.
Because,
I don't know. That's where
that's
right
where
where we're
it's
heading.
really, that's where the fun is here in present day, we'll say. If we go back to, I know Pineapple hates the comparison, but this interaction with them being chased, yes, it's happening, but they don't get caught up in a battle. They make it to where Lan wants to take them, but it was really against Moraine's wishes because she is asleep essentially while Lan is galloping his horse through because she passes out from the injury. So everyone's going through.
So Lan's leading the party in the show a little more than
yes,
both of them in tandem.
Like the way this chapter is breaking out down, Lan is leading. They're being chased. I believe the book said 500. The show gives a great dynamic of numbers. They get to where they want to go. They never fought. So the book did the fighting, which was kind of cool. The show avoids the whole fight whatsoever.
What you're saying
let's
is
get there. Let's do
the book was better.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, of course.
That's just an inside joke. And like other.
I know, yeah. We've all been doing that this week. So let's continue. Lan comes back and explains to Moraine and that they're being pursued by 500, maybe more Trollocs. 3/5 being driven by Fades. So speaking of driven, Lan starts driving them. They race the horses up over hills and then down another side, and it's kind of rough going because they're cresting a rise and then the horse has to come back down. And as they're doing that, they come up another rise and they see Fade leading a horde of Trollocs. And Lan turns to them and says, "You guys do what I do. Stay close and do what I do." And so Lan starts riding for the 7 towers. And so Rand, surprised, his sword is in his hand right behind him. Manetherin, Manetherin. Perrin takes up the cry, Manetherin, Manetherin. And then Matt takes up a very different cry. He yells in the old tongue, Karin al-Dazar, Karin Alessandra. I'm paraphrasing. I didn't say that right, but he said something in a completely different language. And, and those are words that they shouldn't know. It's a very neat and interesting thing to me. Let's keep going. As combat erupts, Lan charges into Fade to fight the Fade blade to blade. Like he goes right for that guy. He's on horseback, and they're ching, ching. It's in my mind. There's a great a sword fight happening on horseback, which is always awesome. Moraine channels through her staff. Moraine still has the staff, Lou, and is using fire to burn these Trollocs. Rand is swinging a sword and chopping. Perrin is trying to work. He gets a little bit pulled off, and Rand goes to help him. And as Rand is going to help Perrin, Rand almost gets pulled out of the saddle. And just then, all the Trollocs start screaming and like clawing at their faces and pulling their hair out. And they all turn and look, and they see the Murdraw on top of his horse, flailing his sword, but with no head. Lan has decapitated the Murdraw, and the Trollocs that were tied to the Murdraw are now starting to just fall to the ground and die. Very lucky for them. And Tom shouts to them, because even the headless Murdraw is still flailing his sword and going. Tom says, "It doesn't die very quickly. It won't die until nightfall." And then Lan shouts to all of them, "Ride!" And they all take off. They get zero breather. The Trollocs are still pursuing them, possibly by more than one fade. I think they mention later how many. Moraine finally gets a little fed up, and I might be skipping a little bit, so you guys might have to correct me. But as they're running away, they get to a point where Moraine stops, turns around, pulls out the Angreal again, plants her staff, and starts channeling with everything she's got, ripping up the ground, the walls of fire, and tries to cut everybody off. It's a spectacular display of the power, and it leaves her completely fatigued and exhausted. Like Lou mentioned, there's not exactly a physical injury here, but she's super tired.
So that never took place.
Okay. What did
Would
you guys
cost
think
a lot
about
of money to animate?
That's what makes this. See, I could see why they probably didn't add this into the show budget wise, because listening to this, you know, it is going to be. You figure these shows, the average about 20-25 million in CGI and all this other stuff. So you could just picture this being done. Visually would probably look stunning, but then the rest of the episode would suffer because of all the money being displayed in this one scene. So I could see the cut happening, and I like that the book did that, and it sucks that the show didn't.
yeah, well, and I mentioned it. What did you guys think about the Murdraw losing its head and then all of the Trollocs that were tied to it dying?
I think it's really cool. I think it's like it kind of reminds me of like Tyranids from Warhammer, where if you kill the big one in charge, the other ones are kind of either die immediately or completely worthless at that point.
Right.
So
It's like it's almost like a trade-off in a way. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's a trope in a lot of in a lot of fantasy. You know, you have your vampires, you kill the main vampire, all the vampires go away. In Game of Thrones, you kill the main White Walker, all the other,
God damn, you just took my answer, Cupcake.
Ah!
That's what just it dawned on me. Like, oh shit, Jon Snow said it. You kill the leader, the group will fall.
Yeah, and I only mentioned it because I hated that part of the show. Like the books were better. But I wanted to mention about Moraine. Again, like I've said before, I love magic. I love this type of story with wizards and all that. With Moraine doing the fire, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but what we're gonna say here. If you hear something, cut me off. Obviously, if you were not ready to discuss it. But then when she does the stuff with the earth, and then she says, she's tore up, wore out. She's done. Her health bar is to 0. Her magic bar is to 0. Her stamina bar is to 0. And she said, "I'm not very good with fire and earth magic." I loved that because now we have even more lore oh, so that means there are wizards that are good in fire and earth magic. And what, elemental magic is Moraine now?
Yeah, they
I'm
had
going to
mentioned
say,
that a couple chapters ago that like the men are good with fire and
Our
earth,
fire and
and
earth.
like Egwene was like, "Oh, what? That's not fair." And then
yeah,
she's like,
yeah, yeah, that's right,
"Yeah,
that's
but they
right,
can't
that's
even
right.
really use that power, so it doesn't matter if they're good at it."
Yeah,
Sure.
that's right, that's right, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. That's right, that's
1
right.
second.
But I just love that. I just love that. I love that, like that, this magic system we're getting.
I was hoping you would.
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
I like the way that she broke it down, but in my knowledge, men don't channel well in this world. Even in the show, they didn't. So it is more of the color based. Granted, we haven't been introduced to the colors of the how Cupcake would put it, the wizard staffs. Remember, there's going to be you got Morena's blue. There's three more colors, and I believe the main, like the leader in the White Tower, she's her own unique Gandalf color.
See, I'm
Okay,
so down with
that sounds
every bit
strange
of.
to me.
Huh?
This isn't necessarily a spoiler because we know that there are elements. So there are 5 of them. There's fire, water, earth, air, and spirit. We don't see colors in the book. They don't show that. They just say that they're channeling this style of this element,
Okay.
and and this might be slightly spoilerish, but you can fire and you can use fire and earth to do something, or you can use water and air to heal, or you can use, what I'm saying? Like there's different
Yeah.
elements do different things, and different combinations of those elements do different things. It's very alchemaic in
Oh, you know what?
Oh,
a short
there's one more
answer
thing
kind of way.
I did I did want to mention about Moraine and like the magic system. I like that she explained the staff was
Oh,
more of like an antenna to
Mhm,
focus,
mhm.
and that brings this wizard series, the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. The exact same concept. You have to, you spend months and months, carving your wand or carving your staff, so that so you have something to focus it through. It's like a camera lens.
Yes, that was
I
also
just
mentioned because Egwene did say, like, "Oh, that made you stronger," or that did this thing, and Moraine gets upset and says, "Objects don't do things; people do things through the objects." So that it's really,
I loved
and
that. Loved it.
I real quick for Annie because I got to figure out how to get you guys to see some of these words without spoiling too much of them. But there's Angreal, and which gets mentioned in this chapter, and there's 3 styles of that. There's Terangreal, Angreal, and Saangreal, and they don't do different things, but they all have different functions. All right. Oh,
Well,
back to the summary.
This is the second time we're seeing it because didn't she take it out when she was?
When she healed Rand's father, Tam. Yes,
Yeah.
that was so. Yes, and she's using it here again in conjunction with the staff to buy them time to get these large group of Trollocs driven by these Murdral. They are hard pursuing. After they get a little bit of distance in between them and the Trollocs, and Moraine is very tired. But she still does a little bit of extra magic to help hide their escape. She brings up some wind and some leaves and pushes their scent down away to try to distract them, to give them. She lays a false trail to buy time, basically. So they follow the phantom path instead of their path. Land presses harder to find shelter before dark. And now that they're left with no choice, they are forced to go to someplace they don't want to go, and Moraine finally concedes and says, "Okay, let's go." And they ride on to the gates of a very large, ruined city with massive walls and towers crumbling. And Rand thinks it was 50 times the size of Barillon. This is they see it again. They all react again. All our boys react again. A city. Like they're going from village to town and town to city, and they're like, wow, man, like the world is so
And now this is like a metropolis.
right,
Right.
exactly. And
They
not
got to
only
New
is it a
York.
huge But it's not just, yes, right. Yes, they finally made it to a large city like New York, but not only is it as big as New York, it's completely empty. And Moraine says, "Well, where was or not Moraine? Oh, Gawain asks, where was this place?" And Moraine says that the Trolloc Wars, it was called Arid Hall. Ugh, my mouth. But later it was known as Shadar Logoth. And it's a very deep and warning tone. So chapter 18 ends with them right at the gates and getting ready to enter in. I think this is a pretty decent chapter. Is there any comment or like any first impressions that you guys got reading through this, or just it's just another, like, I don't want to keep using the word filler, but like, okay, here's a chunk of story that got us from Baralon to Shadar Logoth. Anything interesting happened for you guys? Was there anything that stood out other than Egwene lamenting not being home and cheese?
You going in order?
Obviously the battle was really cool. I like that they without directly telling us, like, now we know, and clearly the boys know, even though it's not like said out loud, that hey, if you kill a Murdral, it may drastically weaken everything around it. So you might want to target that thing first, even though it might be difficult.
So like you're getting a little bit of how the dark side works. That's pretty cool. Cupcake, what do you think about this chapter?
Loved it. We had the chase, we had the battle, we had the magic, we had explanation, we had exposition while battling. It was it was a fantastic chapter.
And Lou, you kind of gave us your opinion when you were comparing it to the show. I got a little follow up for you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this was a fun chapter. Like I said, the show didn't do this battle. It didn't give us Moraine's power and her little breakdown of earth, fire, and all this other stuff. That, thinking about how it's explained, it's Avatar. How you had the Fire
Very
Nation.
Much.
So
yeah,
it's a cool little reference to that. And they could have just gave her a fucking ring like they did in the show, and not some stupid staff.
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, the staff is kind of, it's very stereotypical.
Oh,
every wizard has a staff or a wand kind of thing. Yes. I understand. I get it. Andy, what do you think about this chapter?
Well,
oh, you did answer that already,
overall it was really good. But what I was thinking just then was, if women are specifically and particularly weak in earth and fire, it's interesting that in the story of Manetheren, the woman at the end, whenever her husband dies, kills basically everybody with like super turbo fire. So it's just interesting to fight, despite the fact that they are supposed to be weak in it, she's able to mass genocide them with fire. So interesting.
To her own expense. Like there was no, like, you see how tired Moraine was. If she would have went harder, she could have killed herself. So yeah, good catch. The question I was going to have for Luke, because this is an audiobook review, so we're going to go in a little bit of reverse order. Lou, what do you think about the narration so far? We're 20 chapters in, and you got, just so far it's been Michael Kramer the whole time.
Yes.
What do you think about his? What do you think of this guy doing the narration, and he does a little bit of voice change. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What do you like? Do you like anything about just? I'm specifically talking about this guy narrating.
Yeah, in chapter 20, I believe, he kind of goes a little Scottish.
Yes.
What he was
yes, we get
the captain.
Don't say who it is yet.
Yeah.
It
was great.
Finally,
the narration is great. I like it. It keeps me interested. It's been a ride. Let's just say, and he's doing
a hard ride.
He's done a fantastic job because hey, to do this shit isn't easy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Read that out loud and all that. Like most of the books I've done before were Star Wars, so you would get with the Empire attacking, you would get the music and and stuff like that. The guy would try to mimic C-3PO, and so people who could do this, they have a talent, and it's fucking wonderful that you could experience it that way.
Nice.
I kind of know where you're going with this because I did read ahead. But yeah, he's doing great with the narration. It's when I review audiobooks on my channel like this, that's one of the that's one of the that's one of the things that gets checked. How's the narration? Do I believe he's telling a story, or is he just reading me a book? And this guy is telling a story. That's that's the main difference with narration with an audiobook. Are you just reading a book, or are you telling me a story?
Annabelle?
I absolutely love it. I think the guy does a great job. For the most part, the narrator is indistinguishable from Rand, even when he switches like to another person's perspective. Rand sounds like the narrator. The narrator sounds like Rand. It's almost impossible to tell whenever it's switched unless you are paying attention, because he doesn't do a voice for Rand, is what I'm saying. Everyone else in the entire book, as so far, he does a great job of making them have a different voice, and like the way they speak, their cadences. Like Tom specifically, he speaks from like his throat, like right here. You can like hear
very low tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it, but it's different than when he was speaking as the mayor or the blacksmith. Both of them had very different tones. So it's amazing that he's able to do all of these and keep track of them. And I don't know how it works in the booth. I don't know how long he takes in between lines, because it can be however long with good editing. But he is able to go back and forth between the voices in a conversation. And even if you're not like actively just paying attention, you're able to keep track of it. So the short of it is he's doing a killer job.
I am very impressed with all three of those answers, and I deliberately wanted to ask that, and I just derailed the whole show by doing that. But like a lot of people find him to be monotone, and I was like, I don't hear that. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I think he's doing a fantastic job. Like Annie, you nailed it too. Like he keeps track, and there's a lot of characters, and we're gonna get introduced to one that you guys kind of touched on there for a second. One of my favorite ones that he does all the time there. Fortune prick me. So all right, now we're at the gates of Shadar Logoth, a very scary city, in my opinion. They head on in and they see what's going on. They see broken spires, the roads crumbled and cracked, and it's completely abandoned. And they find a building that they can sort of set up camp in. They finally got a spot where they're at. Moraine's asleep, Lan's standing there, and the boys start saddling up. They start like dismounting their horses, and put them away and all of that. And Matt, in the middle of all of this, just drops his reins and it's like, wow, and runs into one area and he's like, oh, an alleyway, and then runs into another room and he comes back out covered in cobwebs and dirt and he's like, nothing in there. And so, he's like already he's already feeling restless and wants this adventure. And
before he goes into that, let's go search the city, he's kind of caught daydreaming and like nonchalant because of his war chant that he told in the previous battle. Like it's got him wondering. It's got me thinking too, because of something I saw in season 2 with said character, but I don't want to bring it up because it's really spoiler. So I have to bite my tongue and hold it.
Well, hold it.
You would know it because of your knowledge of the book, and that's where I want to pick your brain on it, but we really can't because of
you can always DM me later, dude, if you want to talk about show versus book. I'm more than happy to continue this conversation all day. My friend Pulper, I'm trying to get him to maybe guest on an episode once or twice. Anywho, like you just brought up, because this conversation happens, and So Moraine explains what had happened because Egwene brings it up. What did you say back there, Matt? And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't even know where that came from." And Perrin kind of gets a little offended because he's like, "Why are you laughing at us? You know, Moraine told us we're all Manetheren and it's ancient old stuff, and we were a thorn to the Dark One's side, and we have a right." I like the way Perrin says this here. We have a right. This is our history. We have a right to shout Manetheren into it. And Egwene goes, "No, I didn't mean that. Like, yeah, you guys," she kind of, "Yeah, you got the right. We'll give you that." Matt said something silly. What did he say? And
That went off the
Moraine
rails.
explains yeah, and Moraine explains that was the old tongue. You shouted the old cry from Manetheren. And I didn't write it down because I'm a terrible person. But it's, you know, for the Red Eagle, or for the Queen, and he says the Queen's name, and then for the Red Eagle, and or the Red Hand, whichever one it is, it's the Red something.
Yeah.
And Eggy mentions that she almost understood what he said. So, what do you guys think about that? Was that more like, was that their old blood calling up, or were they just in the moment, like Lance said something, so we say something? Do you think, like, why did that happen? Do you think? Short answer, like quickly. Annie, Cupcake, and then Lou, please and thank you.
I don't have a theory. It's just one of those things that it gets put out to you, and you're like, okay, so let's just put that in the pocket, and we'll sort that out later when we have something to connect that to.
Oh, okay. A little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, I thought they did mention something about it. Land said that, the dead don't die, and don't joke. Yeah, don't joke around with that. So I mean, no, that boy's possessed. Whatever they're talking about is happening to Matt. Like that's.
And yes, they do. Tom does say that. He sort of mentions that the dead can possess the living.
Yeah,
and that's not something you want to talk about.
And it plays heavily in this chapter.
Yeah, there's a lot of scary stuff about to happen in this chapter.
So I can't really give an answer to match gibberish because, like I said, it pertains to something further down. But it's cool how they're, pulling into, well, shit, Land said this, fuck it, let's say the same shit and let's go right into war. And you got Matt being Matt because, Matt, like I said, is the most useless fucking individual. But I digress.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot more of Matt too, Lou. His character got shafted in the show. That's for sure. Anywho,
I can tell.
So Matt. Well, speaking of Matt being Matt, he's like, "Let's go check shit out. Let's go investigate." And Rand is like, and Perrin's definitely like, but he convinces them, and they both. He's like, "We're never going to get another chance to do this." And that's kind of something that I think does convince people. All right, yeah, YOLO, let's go check it out. So they start walking around and they're wandering through. They are impressed by the architecture, the scale. They've never seen a city this big before. But it is definitely dangerous. They do feel a little unease. And Matt, though, is completely blind by the idea of exploration and maybe finding treasure.
I'd like to interject before they leave to go out exploring.
Yes.
They overhear Nynaeve talking to Moraine about more like herb crap, and Moraine's like, "Look, unless you have something that can give me like a 1 hour super nap with no grogginess," and she's like, "Well, actually," and then starts like dragging her away to give her some sort of concoction.
And that's how the boys get away.
Yes, and on top of that, because Lan does kind of give Nynaeve a little bit of crap about your herbs, blah blah blah, and Nynaeve fires back. Well, your sword can't help her right now. You, Mr. Big Tough 7 tower guy. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and if I can interject, that goes into the while she, it's her Hippocratic oath. she's following her Hippocratic oath.
I'm going to
I'm thinking you're right
interject
on
that
that.
sexual tension.
More
Those two
tension.
have built up sexual
Yes.
tension.
Well, and we saw that a few chapters ago when it's not necessarily flirting, but it kind of was. Like when Lan's scared and Nynaeve coming out of the one common room after talking to Moraine, he's like, "I got you, bitch," like, and she's, ugh. And so here, like, she's not afraid of him. She's not afraid of Lan. She's not afraid of Moraine. There's Aes Sedai, warder or not, I got to do what I got to do. And
Yeah,
Moraine
they're-
actually concedes here, and says, Lan, she doesn't, because she insulted him, which we'll find out more about that insult later. She doesn't know that and so Lan calms down and says to Nynaeve, I didn't think that we would need you as much as we do. Your herbs are coming in handy. I didn't, for more or less, she's like, I'm glad you're here, but doesn't say it because, that
Right.
they don't like each other.
I don't know if it's like. I think it's more of a little rivalry. And
Okay.
you're going to see both Egwene and Nynaeve have not secrets, but hidden treasures within them that they don't know about. You remember, Egwene, we've seen a little touch of it. Nynaeve hasn't touched it yet, but as I believe this goes, it will progress. And like I said, her and Lan have a little thing going, and I think Lan respects her so much for the fact that, she was able to track me like no other.
And they mentioned that.
So
because she was being smart about Lan too. Remember, I followed you guys here, and that's what chipped Lan.
Right.
He was like, all right, you know what, we don't need your stinking herbs. So
so that's their little rivalry with the sexual tension mixed in.
Our boys are walking through through this big city, and so as they were deciding, because they were watching the sun go down, they were like, should we go back to camp? Should we keep exploring? Blah blah blah. A man appears there and warns them that the city isn't safe, and he introduces himself as Mordith. And as they talk, he has claimed to find treasure in the city, but can't carry it all alone.
And yet, again, the narrator is able to do a creepy old man voice that is not Senbui or another one of the old men that we have already encountered. It is yet another old man voice, and he nails it.
Yes. This guy does the creepy characters extremely well, in my opinion. I really do enjoy Michael Kramer.
This
yes, there we go.
That we're getting is so awesome in the book sense to what the show did. Because the show didn't give us the creepy man, but it gave us something else. And it gives us a lot of shadowy figures, and you understand why the Trollocs don't want to go inside this said city.
We're going to get there because they do explain that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
So Mordith is convincing these boys to try to come help him with the treasure. Of course, Matt, being Matt, immediately agrees. And our other two, who are slightly smarter, but not by that much, are more cautious, but follow. And Mordith leads them deep into one of the buildings, into a treasure chamber. And then they get inside this room, and they see all these jewels and gold and ornate objects. Everything is like dazzling. And Matt says, we'll need sacks to carry all this out of here. Jeez. And so they are looking at the gold, and Mordith is talking to them, but Rand. And in conversation, Matt's like, we're heading to Tarvalin, and there's other people with them. Mordith gets upset. I thought you were alone. He gets very angry. And
that's because Matt, being Matt's dumbass self, gives him the truth when I believe it was Perrin or Rand that told them a lie. That they were
it wasn't
going
necessarily a lie.
else.
Okay, so whenever the guy had asked, like, where are you guys going? They said, well, we're on the road to Caemlyn, which is true, but on the road to Caemlyn to go to Tarvalin. So during the further interrogation, Matt's like, "Oh, we're going to Tarvalin," and upon hearing Tarvalin, a city he knows, he's like, "What? No, I thought you were going to this Camelin place I've never heard of."
Correct.
Yeah.
And a good catch on that detail, Annie, because he says Camelin, and it's made a point that it sounds unfamiliar on his tongue. But then, yes, he hears Tarvalin, and he loses his mind. Tarvalin! I said, you creepy bitches. And Rand is trying to, like, figure out, like, he feels uneasy and doesn't know exactly just yet why he feels uneasy. And so Mordith is already irritated, and then as they're trying to de-escalate a little bit, Rand notices that there's no shadow. Mordith has no shadow from any light source, and without thinking, Rand says it out loud: "You have no shadow," and immediately Mordith, from regular person into a huge mysterious monster, kind of not mysterious, but like this huge monster thing. "You're gonna die." And he kind of changes into smoke and wisps away. And our boys are like, he's kind of chasing them a little bit, I believe. Matt's trying to grab treasure, and they want to run away. They grab one of the torches start going out as they're running down the stairs. Like, it's getting dark. Like, the darkness is literally chasing them out of this building. And they get outside, and they're running for their lives. Once they get outside, they start heading back to their camp, and they feel like they're being watched from the shadows. From all the ruins, they can feel eyes on them. So they are like, creeped out and hurrying through the streets, and trying to get back to camp so they feel less exposed. How do you guys feel about the sense of danger here? Is this creeping you out too? Because the first time I went through this, I was
The feeling of sense of danger seems to me to have ended immediately once the guy left. It seemed like if he was going to attack or kill them or do something, he would have if he could have. It seemed like he was intending on scaring them or something like that, which is kind of exactly what he did. Then them being watched as they leave, I think, is just reinforces my feeling of that. If they were going to be attacked, they would be.
okay.
Yeah, this when he first popped on the scene, I was like, okay, well, this is a bad guy of sorts. Obviously, it could be due to the narration, but the not having a shadow, and right away, hey, three strangers, come help me with treasure, and you can have the rest. Obviously that was suspect from the beginning.
Would you have been convinced?
I would totally not have gone with him. I would have told him to kiss the fattest part of my ass. You keep all your treasure. I'm not going in, especially in
Show me the
that
treasure
time.
right now. I'm not moving a step. Show me show me what treasure you have on you, because surely you brought
Yeah.
some back up.
Yeah, like especially in that time, if we're in medieval times, yeah, you don't trust anybody like that. So, yeah, Matt stepped in it. That's come on, guys.
That's all Matt does. Pay attention to
Who's a Matt hater?
Matt, no.
I know who's a Matt hater. I by the end of this though, he's gonna be his favorite character. I promise you. I will convince you, Lou, to love Matt.
It's hard to love this guy because look, he gets them into this bullshit with this dude. Granted, here they're doing a much better job of what they're doing because, like I said, this is a totally different scenario in the television show off of memory. Like, listen to the man don't have no shadows. Shadows in this particular building play a much different role. Just listen to that. And what the show did that I don't know if we get to it, so this might be a slight spoiler. But in the show, Matt picks up a dagger.
Well, all right, stop right there. I'm going to cut you off
Okay.
because
Okay.
that's
We'll
in the
stop there
future.
then.
Just read and find out.
Okay, we'll leave it there then. So that probably comes into play somewhere else. But other than that, Matt, wonderful individual.
He's very impulsive, and
That he is.
that's probably his weakest trait. So the boys they are trying to escape that. They're not necessarily running, but they are at a quick walk. They're getting back to their sorry, wrong tab. They get back to the place where they were all resting. Moraine is there. Egwene and Nynaeve and Tom are there, but Lan is gone because he had gone looking for them. And so Moraine asks them, where were you? That was like really not smart of you to do. Nynaeve rounds on them and yells at them and berates them just like she would if they were at home. And so they all start talking at once about what happened. And Rand slows everybody down and starts explaining. And they mention that they ran into a man named Mordith. And immediately Moraine is like, whoa. Yeah, what, did he give you anything? Did he touch you? Do you know anything? And Rand definitely answers 100% truthfully. Mordith didn't give us anything. He didn't touch us. There is no contact. We got away pretty much scot-free. Which Lou did slightly spoiler just now. So as they're sitting in there, though, like, because Moraine explains to them, like, didn't you stop to even think? I don't know if it was Moraine who said it, but somebody explains it to them. And the Trollocs didn't want to enter here. Didn't you think that it would be a problem, or that this might not be exactly as safe? Because the Trollocs won't come in here at all. Like you should have thought about that. And so they're all, oh yeah, you're right.
No, it wasn't that. It was Matt. Just let's be real. It was Matt and his answer. Well, you said this city was this and this city was that.
Yeah,
typical Matt.
It was.
Being
You
Matt.
said it was safe. You said it was safe, but she never said it was safe. It was just safe from the Trollocs.
Trollocs don't come in here.
Right. So, to further that, explain, because she's like, it's not safe, and gives us the history of Arid Hall. The people that were there were fighting the Shadow just as well as everybody else, but it became a fight fire with fire situation, and there was something that was even more evil than what the Shadow had wrought. It was some evil that was born out of men because they had lowered themselves to the Shadow standard and beyond that, and it has evolved into a different kind of evil called Mashadar, and it infected the city, and it's very dangerous. It's a living entity on its own, and she explains to them that she has placed wards around them to protect them from what lurks here in Shadar Logoth. And once it's daylight, they'll be safer and they can leave. Did this little city lore drop intrigue you guys? Like, there's a lot of world building here, and I think that this is kind of self-contained. We got a little soap opera of what happened in the past here. Andy, what do you think about Shadar Logoth and its history?
I'll be honest, it's the first time I've thought, wow, that's kind of stupid. It's the first time where I've just been like, okay, this is kind of just globally uninteresting. So if they would have given us more details on what this thing is it a creature? Is it like sentient radiation? Like it just, I don't know anything about it or what it is besides, I don't know, that it killed the town in the past. So to me, I'm just like, I don't know. If it was able to like leave the town and infect other things, if it was like I just don't know anything about it. So I'm just like, this is stupid.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this isn't a town. This is, 50 times bigger than the other city, the other city they were just in. So if this one thing killed off something that's 50 times bigger, it's kind of a big deal. And there's something to be said about did it touch you? Did you get anything from it? In fantasy, in fantasy books, fantasy lore, fantasy, that's a big thing. Like, don't take anything from, like Rumpelstiltskin, something like, don't, and to say like that the Trollocs, they're afraid to come in here. So what's so horrible that it scares Trollocs from coming in here? That's I'm getting
I
a
think
very
that's
Minds of Moria vibe from this city with the
So,
with the Balrog.
so for Annie's purpose, I think you would have enjoyed the show explanation of this city better than what the book did.
trying to
That's
trick
about
somebody
it.
into watching that show, Lou. I get you.
No, but you got to look at what the show is taking out different parts and working it in different areas. So what the show did with this city, it explains the entity better in a sense, or it doesn't
Mhm.
explain it. It shows you what it's capable of. So
I get you. You can see what it's doing versus having to try to
yes, having
imagine
to
this
try to
like
guess and stuff like that. That's where I
Annie said,
think,
it's pretty
yeah,
vague.
it's vague, and
But
we got more exposition going on amongst the characters talking. We got more dialogue with them here, where there wasn't much dialogue in the show. It was just she they ride in, she's asleep, she wakes up, she's like, "You cursed us all," and boom, boom, and you're moving on. So it's like I said, this chapter has been fun. Matt doing Matt things. The figure, the creep that we got introduced to, didn't know him. I'm glad he's here. So like I said, the narrator does great shit, dude. His voice is fucking awesome.
yeah, and I brought that up because a lot of people typically don't like him. Or Kate Reading, the lady who will do the female perspectives later, and because the show came out, like Lou has been mentioning, they redid the audiobooks as well with Rosamund Pike, the actress that played Moraine, is narrating the first book. Like that's out already. So like I have yet to compare that to her. I haven't listened to that, and that's something I also might want to touch on later in the future. Maybe a supplemental episode somewhere down the line.
That's actually the version I bought, and then I learned everyone was doing the other one, and I couldn't return it, so now I own both versions on Audible.
Dude, I gave you the whole series.
That's
I
what I
know,
was
but
going to
I'd
say.
like
Like, I'll help you.
We'll
I
have
know.
him come
Yeah,
in.
yeah. No, he likes his Audible, and I don't blame him. You're paying for it. Use it.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried to save you a few dollars, bro. Hell.
It's just easier.
Oh, just easier.
It's not
just
about the
easier.
money.
Everything
Right,
with
it's
me is money.
convenient.
Everything is about the money. I found ways to be cheap.
I am the cheapest. Chapter. All right, chapter 20. So we wake up in the morning. They all have a nice little naparoo, I think, and Rand tries to sleep. He has a light dream. It's an actual dreamy dream. There's no extra stuff, no Beelzebub, none of that. And he's just, it's him and his sword, and he's being chased by Mortis, more or less. And so he wakes up from his nightmare and just kind of sits there and can't go back to sleep. He can't close his eyes. And Lan comes in and puts 3 badges, like drops 3 more badges. And he says, there's 3 fists of Trollocs out there all being pushed by a Murdral to come into the city. They're being pushed by the Murdral to come in to look for these guys. So there's something very important with our fellowship here, that even the Shadow Spawn are risking themselves against something that's even worse, in their opinion, than Shadow Spawn. So they start to saddle up, and we got to go. Because Lan mentions, he's like, I would just let them pass us, but they're kind of coming right at us. They're like, we have to move because we're in direct path of where they're
They're
coming.
making a beeline.
Right. Behind. Okay, so like as they're leaving, Moraine says, "Stay close," and of course, it's kind of hard for them to stay close because they're not as experienced. They're moving up. They're not being as quiet as they should be. But the entire group ends up stopping because they see down the street Mashadar, the entity that we were just talking about, the evil of Shadar Logoth. It's literally an evil that was spawned out of the people from that city. Like you said, it's kind of just any. You don't get much on it, and if you need to know, it does come off as a little. It's just there now.
It just rubs me weird that it's just like, okay, so we have this big bad evil, you know, like it's fighting against this force of good. It's been doing it for millennia and all this or whatever. And then, hey, there's also this also mega super evil, has nothing to do with that, and the actual evil doesn't like that evil because it can kill it. So those two evils don't mix, and also that evil can't go anywhere. So they just we just don't go there. It's just stupid to me in that aspect.
I'm glad that you have a negative perspective on something, because I don't want this to be all like, oh, this is all great, like all the time. There is so much that is great, but there are, believe me, I'm not rose tinted with this. There are flaws. So Moraine points out that if Mashadar touches you, it's instant death. You're gonna die. You're gone. And it's so powerful that, like, because Nynaeve and Egwene, I think, mentioned, like, well, why don't you just get rid of it? And Moraine says, not even the entire White Tower, all the Aes Sedai could even do this. You know, like, it's something that is now spawned into our realm, and we're stuck with it. And so Moraine says, if we get separated, she points to a star in the sky. There's a red star. Ride towards that star, because it will take you to the river Arno. And we will, and if you follow the river, you will eventually get to Camelin. We will meet up in Camelin. Basically saying that, you know, we have a meeting point if we get separated. And that they should all make their way out as quickly as they can, so that way Mashadar doesn't do anything. And she says Lan and her will meet them on the river. Lan and Moraine slip away, and everybody else tries to find their path out. But the mist is blocking street after street, and the tendrils are starting to reach out for them. And then Trollocs show up out of nowhere, led by a Fade, and so everybody scatters, and Shadowspawn is chasing them. The Trollocs and the Murdraw are chasing them. Rand and Matt start fleeing through a fog-filled street as Mashadar reaches towards them. And then Tom's like, "Ride, you fools!" And he gets them. He kind of. Here, before I get too far, as the Trollocs and the Fade are coming at them, Mashadar reaches for the Trollocs and Fades and starts engulfing some of them and killing them, and that's where. And Rand almost nearly kills Matt because Matt turns on and shows up, but then they see an open gate and they try to escape the city. They escape the city at the same time, and then Tom shows up behind them, being chased by more Trollocs, and says, "Ride away!" And so they all ride off and they head towards the river Arno. And then they get to the river, and as they're riding down river a little bit, they can see lights, and so they start heading towards the lights. And then they find a moored ship on the bank, like it's anchored there right on the bank. They're being pursued by these Trollocs. They run. They literally jump off their horses and run towards the boat and climb onto this dude's ship for no reason. You know, they're just like in the middle of the night doing this. Rand is almost caught by a catch pole. But for whatever reason, a bar, like one of the mast bars thing that holds the sail, swings by and knocks the Trolloc overboard in the last second for him. The rest of everybody starts scrambling. The crew on the boat starts scrambling. They're all trying to, knock the Trollocs that are trying to also jump up on the boat off. There's a gentleman there that's like sees Rand with his sword and thinks he's a brigand and it's like, oh, don't kill me, you know. And then that's when Rand gets hit from the Trolloc from behind, drops the sword. The guy sees the sword and they scurries off. But then the captain of the spray, Mr. Bail Domond, Cupcake's character in our thumbnail, confronts all of them. He's like, what the hell's going on here? Accusing them of endangering his ship and drawing Trollocs, and he threatens to throw him overboard. And so, again, these two are so lucky that Tom is there because he explains in the most smoothest of ways that Rand and Matt are his apprentices, and he gives him a good story about why they were where they were. You know, Tom invents this great backstory where a dying friend gave him a map to some treasure that he just forgot about, and then in a pub one day heard some other people overhears other people talking about the same treasure and where the location is. And so he takes Matt and Rand and a couple other people to the treasure, and turns out that it was Shadow Spawn treasure, and that's why they were being pursued. So he talks his way out of a suspicious situation very deftly to the captain, who also mentions he had Trolloc trouble. Made me side eye a little bit. And so Tom he caught that too, and kind of asks Captain Domond, well, why do you have trouble with the Shadow Spawn? And he gives him basically not the same answer, but one very not so forthcoming, but not exactly a lie either. He threatens to throw them all overboard, and they need to pay for passage. And so Rand and Matt, being as immature and inexperienced as they are, fork over some silver. And Tom smirks. He's like, "Look, dude, I could have got us rooms and a hot meal for a couple of songs and a story. Let me just handle things. You two, just let me handle it." And then, so Bail Domond pays them all
More
back.
specifically, it was like the little silver coin that Moraine had given them.
Thank you. Yes, it was the silver Tarvalin mark that would keep Moraine tied to them, so that way she would know where they were, as long as they don't spend the coat, which they just did. And I also like, because Bail Domond makes change, they get back a couple of silver pieces and a lot of copper. You know, like it's. I feel like they got 2 quarters and then a fistful of pennies for that big, huge lump of silver that they forked over. But that's where our boys and Tom end up. They end up on the spray, and Rand, I think, also mentions here in this little bit, we got friends. Can we wait for them? And he didn't even realize that they had pulled anchor and are like 4 or 5 miles down the river already. Like they were gone. You know, they're like, we're out. So now we know where Matt and Rand and Tom are. They're with Bail Domond on the spray heading down the Arenal. Then we get a perspective change.
Our first real one. It's been like slight little like here and there, like a sentence here or there. Like whenever they were about to leave town Emmons Field in the middle of the night, we had parents' perspective for like 2 sentences before people walked in. He was there waiting for them to show back up, and then it switches to Rand's perspective the second they walk into the barn. So this is the first time we've really had somebody else's perspective.
Excellent.
And I really
and
like
before we move too far, what did you think about the introduction of Captain Domond? Did you like his character? Do you get a nice sense of an expansion from that?
I don't know what to take from him yet. I like that we have a new character. I hope he sticks around. Assumably he does, because he's on our podcast art. So, you know, I'm excited to learn more about him.
No, he was me in the cover art. That's cool. Knowing that, you know, he's probably going to be. I mean, I feel like we are going to have these 2 different perspectives, you know, until the end of the book, and then they're going to come back together. So we're probably going to be spending the rest of the book with him, and you know, the little crew on this, you know, this little team is going to be, you know, a team for the rest of the book.
Okay.
You know, in each subsequent, team.
Gotcha. Like, yes, this is the point where, like, yeah, we get perspective shifts, and our fellowship is split up. No, they're just a ship now. They're not followed, or just they're fellows, but not shipped together.
Right.
Lou, what do you think of Captain Bail Doman? Did you like his introduction and the way he handled these freeloaders just kind of jumping on their boat on his ship there?
Yeah, because I don't even know who the hell he is. So a new
Exactly.
character.
So
Right.
yeah, that's why I want to know. Like, he's brand new to you.
Yes, he is.
Go ahead.
He's brand new to me. So I'm intrigued to see where his adventure goes. And that's why, you know,
Shut up, Lou. I had to be echo real
no,
quick.
no.
Andy wants to say something too. Go ahead. Finish your
Just
thought.
like
This guy is interesting. Like the way he was introduced and the way he talks, and he mentioned something like, I wouldn't do this for my own brother. I wouldn't do this for my own mother. I wouldn't do this for my grandmother. and it's like, okay, is this guy one of those Terran ferrymen everyone was talking about? Because this guy sounds like what everyone was talking about. He's like, no, I literally wouldn't save my own mom if she didn't pay me. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd throw my own mother over.
Really
I'd throw
like that,
me
or if that's
mother
just,
overboard.
I don't know.
He's
I don't
definitely
know
about
if
his
you're really
money.
like that, or if you're just doing that as like I'm telling you how serious I am about this business.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, like I said, this Tom character that Echo keeps saying, I don't remember him, and I've watched that season 1 pretty well, and he wasn't around. I don't remember him. So this dude is totally new.
Right.
And
I think
want to
that's
see.
Eccles' point, is that Tom is so different in the show versus the book. Like, there's a couple of things that you can tell, but like, he keeps bringing up Tom Maryland to you,
And
because
he's not
in the show he's
correlating
not.
with me. Yeah, so like I said, I'm looking for, dude. The show is like on the back burner. It's now more of a reference to what the show didn't get right to what the book is doing.
And I was hoping for that tipping point at some point. What a silly thing to say, but like, I know that if this is, we're looking at the audiobook. This is but I do like that you're comparing it to the show for me, because I watched some of the first season, and like you just said, it took out some things, and some of the things that it took out, I didn't really like, because, and again, like the meme, the book is always better. So
Yeah.
sometimes I do avoid some things like this, because that is 9 times out of 10, it will be true. Unless they do something like The Shining. All right, where derailed and sidetracked yet again. Oh yes, that was a good actually spot to. Yeah, that was actually a decent spot to get derailed, because now we switch our perspective from Matt and Rand and Tom heading away with Bail Doman to Perrin, and Perrin and Egwene are alone in the city, and he's trying to comfort her and saying that we will find the others, but they got to head for the river together. And so they slip out and they ride through the forest, and they're evading pursuit, but Trollocs are right behind them. Yet again, more horn sounds, and they're being pursued, and they get close. And so they take off. And in the chaos of the flight, Perrin fails to notice I'm going to use the word bluff, but it was like a ridge or a cliff. It wasn't really a cliff, like a big, huge one. But it's something that the horses stumble down, and they fall off their mounts, and they fall into the river. I guess I would imagine it like a riverbank. They were heading right at the river. They hit the riverbank. The horses fell over and got the two of them got tossed right into the water. And so now we're directly on Perrin, because he can't see Egwene anymore. And he's fighting the current, and he nearly drowns under the weight of what he's wearing. He takes off his cloak and lets it float downriver because he's sodden. The axe on his hip is weighing him down. It's getting pulled. But he claws his way to the shore. He lost the horse. He lost his cloak. He almost lost the axe. And now he's all by himself and exhausted. He starts yelling out for Egwene, but only hears Trollocs. He can't. He doesn't hear anybody. He doesn't see anybody. He's very much alone. He tries to find himself some shelter, and he's very unsure of where anybody else or anything that is happening. You know, it's basically straight up chaos. So I don't have much to say about this part because of what it was. It was very much quick action. How do you guys feel about the writing? Like is this a good time to even split up the whole party? Because now everybody's split. Parents by himself. We don't know where Gwaine is. The boys are on the boat. We're gonna get to Moraine, Lan, and Nynaeve here shortly in the next couple chapters.
It's not a good place to split, which is why it's a great place for them to split. They were together just moments ago, and then they were attacked on two fronts, and their group split into how many? We don't know how many fragments. There's at least two, and then the second one already has split into two more fragments. So there's three parties now that we know of that are just kind of alone, and it's they have no reference points really. They have no regroup point. Moraine said, "Just go to the river." It's like, okay, and what? Like, live here? Like, what if one of you dies on the way? Like, what do? There's no further instructions. It wasn't go to the river and wait until tomorrow and then keep going up the river to to Camelin or any. No, it's just go to the river and just trust that I can find you. Okay, well, currently that's our only plan, so it kind of puts everyone on a back foot and on defense right now as they try to regroup and play survival. And it's particularly interesting for Rand now because he is so far away from everyone else with another new group now.
Nice.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's yeah, as far as the breaking up of the fellowship, I mean, they got separated. Annie brings up a good point. There was no rally point. So now they just have to hopefully get to the we're going to, was it Tarvalin? We got to get there. So like that's the rally point, I guess.
Yeah, and it's far down the line too. Like
yeah,
or I should say, distance wise, it's a distance away.
yes.
Yeah, it's difference here is Perrin is on his own, but in the show he never was. He stays with Nynaeve. They stay
Okay,
together.
yeah, see that? Okay. That's that was another thing, like, because now you should be following like three separate parties. But I understand for the show's sake that they would keep them all
Well, they
together
still
to
did
keep
do
them
that. In a sense, they did. Because the show, it was Matt and Rand. You had Nynaeve, Moraine, and Lan, and then Perrin and Egwene. So there's still three separate parties. The only
Okay.
one missing in the party in the show is Tom.
Okay, so he didn't make an entrance on there yet. Excellent.
Yeah,
Good to know.
that's why I'm trying to remember where he came into play, but I digress.
Or he was just standing there with his gleaming cloak, playing the flute, juggling, singing a song, and telling a story, and you're just like, man, this guy is really annoying me. I'm just going to ignore him on screen.
Maybe.
In the back there.
Maybe.
You didn't mention that, Lou. Like, if there's an ancillary character that doesn't interest you, you've said it already before. You're like, it's just filler.
Yeah,
it's like,
right. He did say
noise to
that.
you.
Matt.
But at the same time, I kind of like, I'm happy to hear him say that, because if you do come back to this later on, you'll be like, oh shit, I missed that the first time. Oh shit, I missed that the first time around. It's already happened where we got some things early on in the first couple chapters that were a bit of a foreshadowing that showed up here in some of the later chapters. Let's move to where fails to see the book. Moraine, Lan make their way to the river. Nynaeve is not present yet. The chapter doesn't. Let me go back up a little bit. I'm sorry. Again, scrappy notes. There we go. So they're the two that do the best. They're unseen by anybody else, including the rest of the party. But they too are forced to flee Shadar Logoth as Mashandar spreads. Nynaeve, who has trailed them from the city, has vanished into the night. Their fate is left unresolved.
Dun, dun, dun. Chapter 20.
And that's where we end, right?
Yes, basically, we moved right through these chapters. As long as they were, there was a lot of action, and the action moved very quickly. So
Right.
let's go back a little bit and go through some of what I kind of skipped, because I don't. I apologize to you guys because I don't have Echo here, kind of
To bounce
no
off
apology
of.
necessary,
co-hosting.
dude. No,
Like,
you're good.
not to bounce off of. You guys are great. It's I got to pay attention to my questions and direct conversation at the same time, where I can let Echo talk while I load up my next question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did Tom get any new layers to you guys here? Because how quickly he was able to come up with a story. Like, did that impress you at all? Because I did touch on that a little bit. It did impress me.
That's not what impressed me particularly. I was more impressed in his ability to handle himself in combat. We knew that he had like sleight of hand and had a knife, so he could probably in a pinch defend himself, or if he had to sneak up on somebody or something like that. But there is a scene where Matt Rand and Tom are running through the woods, and Trollocs come up on them and start attacking them, and Tom comes like from the back, like basically like speed boosts on his horse, and then runs past the Trollocs and throws one knife, two knife, and then turns around and throws a third knife at the one that's running away, as he just watched him double kill his teammates, and complains that those are his best knives and doesn't even
Best
bother
knives.
to pick them up. He's standing above two of them. Like, maybe one of them got away, yeah, sure, but there's still two of them right there. He doesn't even bother to take them. So that to
Those
me
were
is
my
like,
best
oh,
knives.
okay, Tom is not only an intellectual badass, he is literally a badass. Okay, where and why does he have this sort of training? Why is he this good at what he does? Who is this guy?
Right.
If he's who
yeah.
I think
It's
he
my
is,
turn, Lou.
well, it's a train of thought that I have right now. This is no more turn time. This is free talk.
All
If
right.
he's who I think he is, then yes, he is a badass.
Okay.
You dork.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I when we first started this, in the hero's journey, I labeled Tom as the wise old sage, and the wise old sage always has secrets. So yes, it was fun to see him do this. I'm not very surprised. Of course Tom knows how to do this. That was my attitude on it.
Awesome. Real quick, since we kind of are like in a little bit of the happy talk, we blew through a lot of this a lot quicker than we usually do. I don't know, it wasn't last show, but it might have been the show before that. I pressed everybody about Tom Maryland and his name. Do you see or hear anything there with Tom Maryland's name? Maryland? Sound familiar? Remind you of a sage of anybody you might know?
You did go
You
over
said
this
Merlin.
part. Yeah, Merlin. Yeah, but just because
I was trying to
that
get I was
connection.
trying to get him to guess it. I wanted to see if it's more or less. Are you
I
guys catching
wasn't
these
on that
weird?
show. I must
Right?
not been
No,
on that.
Oh.
no, but like Marilyn's last name is very close to a. Because I was impressed that you even called him a sage, because that's who was
Okay.
advising. You know what I'm saying? That's who
Yeah,
was there
okay, I
for.
see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I would have got there eventually.
Yeah, that's what kind of it. And so, like, moving forward, kind of, you're gonna get some of that. If you think it might have been a real world thing to us, it very likely was. It's like
Okay.
when we play a video game, like when you're playing a video game and you see something called a Tato. Like, we know what that is, even though they call it something different. It might look a little different. So
Right.
there's going to be like how we start the podcast, the age that gave it birth is long forgotten before it comes again. So, that's what I mean. I think we're almost being led to think that this is our world. This
Okay.
isn't something that, like, this is either our distant past or our long, 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 long in the future. So I find that to be very, very cool with the way this is writing. There's a lot of parallels. And as the world expands, I'm hoping you guys make connections like that with the different types of peoples. Because right now, we're strictly fellowship. We're following our main characters. We're being endeared, these guys. And I already asked you about Bail Dolman. Do you think, yeah, you guys mentioned he's like, that was straight up business. He'll throw his own mom in the river for not paying passage. Well, and there was a lot of POV shift in this last chapter. And I think it was about an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, somewhere there.
40,
was that hard to
43
follow
minutes.
for you guys? 43, 44?
No, there were these. The first chapter, 18 was 35, 43, and this one was 45. So it's been consistent in my eyes as far as listening.
I don't think the perspective switch this time was hard to follow or anything. It seemed like they had wrapped up the scene, so to speak, with Rand and Tom and them on the boat and stuff like that. So either the chapter was going to end or it's going to scene transition to what the other people are going to. And since now people are split apart, it has to be somebody else's perspective. Now, it may change in the future or whatever, where it may be more abrupt than I would like it to be, or be less choreographed, and you'll be like, oh, wait, hold on, am I reading somebody else's perspective? I don't know. But at least as of this first actual change in perspective, it made sense and it felt good.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever, so I've got to commend this audiobook. This is the first time that when a perspective changes like that, your point of view character changes, that you use a different narrator. I loved it. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I wanted to marry it. That's how much I loved it.
Excellent. And yes, both Annie and Lou have yet to go that far into the future yet. But and one more thing I want to point out real quick before
Yeah,
we go on the
I accidentally read the next. I was into it, and I was like, oh shit, and I stopped it.
and
I got into
well,
the
that's the
next
thing.
chapter,
I encourage that though, because you want to know, and I'm not going to cuck you guys. I'm not going to make you wait a week to find out what happens. If you're interested and it's got you and you're being pulled along, let it carry you. Because that's when you're in the mood and you're enjoying it.
You don't want to inadvertently give a spoiler. That's why I'm like, oh my god, I'm already in the. I got I got to stop. Like I
stopped. I want to try to keep it fresh in my brain for when we're doing this.
Yeah,
that's the other part. That's what I was going to say. As long as you guys can come back and remember to do the 3 chapters that we're talking on, or stay focused on that, and like Cupcake said, try to avoid spoilers as best you can, because there are things that are. This chapter break moves right into another chapter. We got an unresolved perspective shift, because the next chapter is going to pick up at that unresolved perspective shift. Okay, these 3 we know the least about. Matt, Rand, and Tom are on the back burner now because we know they're on a boat moving down. Perrin and Egwene aren't resolved. We know Perrin got separated from Egwene, that they need to find each other. Lan and Moraine are separated from Nynaeve, and they might find each other. To be honest, we don't really know where Nynaeve's at all. You can get a whole different set of paragraphs that's just her until we find out where she winds up. I really enjoy this series a lot for many different reasons. It's still early on in the book. I'm so happy that you guys are, you're into it, and that makes me happy. Am I on the right one? Is this chapter 20?
Yeah, like you discussed earlier, it would be great to maybe do 5 and 6 chapters, but then again, like Cupcake said, we'll be at this shit for 4 or 5 hours.
Right. And
so,
and I know we're all fine with that, but we don't want to make somebody sit down and watch that.
That's
it.
That's the tough part. Like, if we can, like, let's just say hypothetically we ended now, Pineapple would probably be ecstatic that we got the show down to an hour and a half, but then he might also be like, you fucking fruits got this shit done in an hour and a half without me? Fuck you guys.
Well, and I mentioned it before, because there's 5 of us. So right now I got 3 perspectives I'm getting. So instead of me doing this one-on-one with Annie, where we could cover 5 or 6 chapters in 2 hours, or with Cupcake in 2 hours, or with Lou in 2 hours,
Right.
I gotta make sure that I get all these opinions, because that's what I want. I'm really trying to grow the series fan base. Not that it really needs it. I'm a cult classic guy to begin with, but you guys are my friends, you know, more or less. We haven't been at a bar together or anything, but I would like to share this with you. I'd like to share this with the audience, that the dabble guys that we all know and love. There's more to life than just shitting on John.
Yeah.
So
Who would have thought?
Right.
That being said, supertip.gg/Echo to supertip. There's 2 new voices. One of them is Michael Kramer. If you want to hear his actual voice and make him say rude things to many of us on panel here, you can. And Kate Redding is also there. If you want to say some sweet things and nice things, it's in a nice, sweet lady voice. And you can compliment us all right there at supertip.gg/Echo. Subscribe to everybody here. We will go around and do plugs here shortly. We did come in at an hour and a half. I vamped a little bit, trying to fill time. But one quick question then. So out of these 3 chapters, let's end it here. How do you guys feel about these 3 chapters? Good section? We got a good section here? No, not a good section? A little boring? Annie, you mentioned that there was some things you didn't enjoy.
Really, really strong. Just the fact that they threw in a weird shadow creature with no explanation doesn't take away from the fact that it was an awesome ride and it helped build the characters and set up things in the future. It's split up, and now we have a reason for our characters to be split up, so it's going to set up even more in the future. So these 3 in particular, I feel like have hit really hard because they were full of action and intrigue.
Nice. Mr. Cupcake?
I loved all 3 of these chapters, and Annie, that shadow monster that doesn't mean anything. If we've got 22 books in this series, this is being told to us as lore of the lore of this area, because it could be like in book 6, you've got oh, we're going by this castle, this town, and there's the ivy all over, and you as the reader already know, oh my god, that shadow demon is there. How are they going to deal with it? No, it's
excellent.
It's like,
I understand what you're saying, Cupcake. You're right.
Okay, all right.
This is a long canon, so yeah, like little things like that, and this has been going on throughout the series. You get a little tidbit of a lore drop, and then later on you get a little bit more. Just like with the merge off.
Yeah, this shadow beast may have a bigger role in a future book, and we already know about it. They don't have to go into explaining it again.
Not only that, our characters have a first-hand experience on it in case it does come up again, so it's relevant. I totally agree with you. I hope I'm wrong, and that it's not just, hey, here's some plot for this town, city.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I misunderstood you then. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you then.
Yeah.
I get you.
And Cupcake gets 15 books.
Oh, well, whatever.
Don't add 7 more books. We'll never finish this goddamn podcast. No. Even though the chapters were long, it really flowed fucking great. Like, because when I'm doing things around the house while listening to prepare for the show, so it's just like, that's a part of my day. Tuesdays, awesome. When we're getting ready to do the show, I put on the books, listen to the chapters, and it just flows. And I was caught up in something, so I had to like find my phone real quick. Stop! I don't want to keep going because we got it to a new person. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's gonna want to pull you along. I'm very glad that you guys are enjoying the writing style so far. Because it is a long series, and if this guy was not a great writer, I would have never even been able to make it this far. Or I should say, through the first book, at least pulled me that much along. Okay, yeah, like we had mentioned before, it's very Lord of the Ringsy, but it's wholly different. Like you can see, like the hero's journey, writing 101, right there. We know what it is. but we see parallels. Like Lan is very much Aragon, and like you mentioned, Cupcake Tom is very much a sage character. You know, I don't think Moraine is exactly one-to-one Gandalf, but
In the
more or
realm.
less, yeah. Right. And our hobbits are our Two Rivers guys. They're actually human this time, but you know, it's Sam, Frodo, and Mary, and I can't remember. Oh God, I can't remember his name now. Pippin. Thank you. So like those are all combined into those are four there: Gawain, Matt, Rand, Nynaeve, and Perrin. Pippin.
Well, I mean, God damn it, do we beat a
Different guys.
Legolas? We got to get our Legolas,
Well, that's
man.
there's
Some
going
of
to
the characters
be
like
characters
fusions,
that might
like
fall out.
because like you were saying, like Moraine isn't Gandalf, and neither is Tom. But if you put both of them together,
Right.
they could be a Gandalf. So if you
Very
have
good point.
Lan as Aragon, he's also very Legolas like because he has that like super sensory awareness. He has like his hunting and tracking skills. You know, so you can't do a 1-to-1. Otherwise, this would be a Lord of the Rings ripoff, and that's all that anyone would say about this.
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, like,
I could do without
and
the
this is
Gimli
written,
character.
and for clarity's sake, this book series started in like 1989, 1990. The first book I think was published in
Oh.
1990. So
Okay,
it's
so
already 35 years old story.
This is fairly new in a sense of
yes.
books.
Yes, exactly. And because Lord of the Rings is already how old that is, you know. So this is Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings for like England to have its own mythical lore, you know, like the Greek mythos or the Roman mythos. This was Lord of the Rings was supposed to be, lack of a better term, Anglo mythos. And I feel like Robert Jordan is pulling all of those together and trying to give us a more concise, albeit a very long explanation of our own mythos, you know, just not as individual nations, but maybe as humanity as a whole. And
I can see that.
I hope that the deeper meanings do start to show themselves more as we go forward.
Cool.
Oh, one last thing about the Mashadar thing. I'm not going to let it go, Annie. What do you think about? Okay, there is a distinction there. Is there any distinction between human raw evil versus straight up satanic devilish evil or anything like that?
Absolutely, that's completely two different things. One's interesting and has dynamics, and one's boring and is natural. Like, so if it's to be believed, then this miasma of instant death can be created anywhere at any time if enough people are just like, damn, this sucks. And then they just create a hell opening and make it like, I find that interesting, sure, but it's just the fact that it has, at least currently, and that's just because it is just set dressing to go to the next place. It just has no purpose. It's just, hey, once upon a time there was a town here, and then it was killed by a big smoke, and now nobody goes here.
I love riling you up. That was so fun. That was completely worth it, in my opinion.
I have to disagree with you there. I mean, that's
awesome.
That's part of the world.
That's what we're here for. Yep.
That's part of the world building. Like, don't go near that castle, or if you're being, if you're, that I have a feeling that that's going to be important.
I can
in
find
other
it interesting and also dislike it.
I get it, but I'm excited to find out more about this. I don't see it as just set dressing. I see it, it's a place. It's a part of this. I want to find out more.
Right. It piques your interest, and I'm sorry. Go ahead. You first.
Well, no, all I was going to say is, I read about 2 weeks ago, Amazon and Sony no longer have the rights to the TV show. Since they canceled it, they lost the rights. So I am hoping, hoping Apple TV decides to like maybe look into this and picks it up because their show making abilities has been top notch lately. And I
I've
think
heard that.
they would do this series justice. Like I like what Amazon did as far as money wise, but I think Apple would dump the money and give us an actual like first book season in about 13 episodes where they don't really cut nothing and they give it to us right.
Well, that
So-
being said, Apple TV, if you need any help with this reboot of a series that just got canceled, we will start Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time, and I will help advise you guys and get you to where you need to be. I will do my due diligence, unlike I did here today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and doing this. I am always excited for this discussion. Like Cupcake, you mentioned, I love talking books. I was harassing you in your chat. Lou, I like having you here for the opposition of the show. I mean, I know I joke a lot, and I just did it to Annie. I got her to rile up a little bit about something. I've caught him side eyeing because you'd be like in the show, and he just gets so upset about it, and that makes I like a little bit because that right there. I like a little bit of it because it does make us chuckle. I am very happy today that there was a disagreement, a little bit, not super serial, but that's. I think this is going great, and I'm very. You guys are making me happy, and it's far and few and far in between sometimes, especially with the way the real world is. We get to escape here a little bit.
This is the best escape.
That being said, let's escape to our plugs. Well, you're on Eccles Show. Hit like and subscribe already if you're not. Annie, where can we find you? Are you promoting somebody else this week?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I was just recently on Movies with 2K, so if you are interested in watching a sort of movie watch along, but more a talk over, go subscribe to 2K. I'm not exactly sure where to find him, so not the best plug. And then the other one is All Apologies. I just did All Apologies with Andy and Joe.
Yeah, All Apologies Podcast. Give that a search out. You have to type All Apologies Podcast if you just Google search it. Cut of the Jib Rock Talk Live on YouTube, and then you'll be able to find the rest of that stuff there. Cupcake, where do we find you?
You can find me at American Cupcake on YouTube, and I am a regular on the Movies with 2K. It is on Rumble at Cut of the Jib Uncensored every Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern. You can check us out. We watch horrible movies and we goof on them. So are we stealing the idea from Mystery Science Theater 3000? Absolutely. But catch me on YouTube at American Cupcake or on Cut of the Jib Uncensored on Rumble.
Awesome. Give him a follow on X too at American Cupcake.
At Box Truck Cupcake.
At Box Truck Cupcakes. Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah,
Lou.
you can find me on Twitter at Lou the Monster One. Occasionally on this gentleman's podcast, doing The Crow. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
Probably tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, Lethal
other
Weapon
than
was this
that-
past week too. Just to make a mention.
Right.
Yeah.
Lou the Monster One on X. Follow him because he retweets out all our stuff and might have a hot take or two. So
That
be on
you
the
can,
lookout for
you can
that.
count on me for a hot take. Not here.
Nice. And myself at Spurksnake on YouTube and at Spurksnake on Twitter. Monday night at 11 p.m. I play some game show games with all my friends. Come hang out and chat and shout the wrong answers at me. We didn't do too great this past week. If you didn't watch, go give it a look. And other than that, I will be on BYB Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, most days. But this week, Quad Father's off. So look for me this Friday with Luigi Greenberg. We'll be discussing something. I have no idea what we're talking about. He said it's a surprise. I'm going in completely with blinders on. So that should be interesting. Thank you guys for hanging out this long. Yeah. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And now it's time to play the outro.
We wear the footsteps of our fathers. the trail blazed by our mothers. They bought the land with their blood, Lord, long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks. Oh my. Oh, sing of my never-end. Oh, we for the blood of Aiel. Oh, cry for me never-end. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks. Oh my. Oh, sing of my Matherin. Oh, weep for the blood of Aiel. Oh, cry for my Matherin. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks.